Whether or not you know about video games, you know Super Mario Bros. Mario is the OG of Nintendo and of video games in general. Video games like Mario have stood the test of time since their inception into mainstream media in the mid-1980s. Today, they continue to be the main form of entertainment for millions around the world. But what has made them more popular than film, television, and other forms of media? That is what I'm looking at right now. From the classics to today, video games have evolved into a dominant form of new media. Their evolution from time wasters to jobs for some over the past 30 years is fascinating. Games are becoming more and more complex as we grow along with them. So let's take a look from their beginnings to how we view video games in the present day.
Let's go!
In their early forms, video games were side-scrolling platformers like Super Mario Bros. This style is still around, but it is falling out of popularity because of games like Skyrim and Fallout, huge adventure games with tons of variability. So what keeps us compelled to keep playing? A combination of story, gameplay, and player choices draws us in. Video games have evolved into new ways to tell a story without having to watch everything unfold like in a movie or TV show. We are in control of what we want to do in order to progress the story. Interactive story games like Heavy Rain, The Walking Dead, and Undertale have different paths and different results depending on the choices the player makes. Games like these continue to win awards, and they attract many new gamers year after year. Early video games were seen as something used to kill time. People would go to arcades, pump quarters into the machine, and play until they lost. Once they made their way into the home on the Atari and Nintendo home consoles, people began to put more and more time into games. They wanted to clear every level in Super Mario Bros., and they wanted to collect every piece of the Triforce in The Legend of Zelda and defeat every boss in their way. This home gaming led to the decline and the eventual death of arcade gaming. As the years went on, games became bigger and more expansive. The technology allowed for more content, more stories, and easier accessibility to newcomers. RPGs became more popular on the Super Nintendo, with games like The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, Chrono Trigger, and Final Fantasies 4, 5, and 6. This era also highlighted the console war of Sega and Nintendo. They each wanted to create the best games and consoles and prove why they were better. As the console war raged on, Nintendo pulled away, releasing systems like the Nintendo 64, the GameCube, and the Wii. However, Sega was replaced by the Xbox and PlayStation systems. They each came with their own games that competed with and often beat out Nintendo. By the 2000s, video games were one of the most popular forms of entertainment. Games like Halo and Call of Duty ran the market for years. There are also games with little to no plot, like Super Smash Bros. Melee, Street Fighter, and Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Gamers play these video games in competition with others and to show off their skills. While there is no in-game story, the popularity of these esports has led to their own stories being created in real life. Fans follow their favorite players and create their own canonical stories. This type of involvement has been huge for the growth of esports and the rise in popularity of video games as a form of entertainment. Ian Bogost says how video games allow us to live in a simulation of another life. For some people, they love it so much, their in-game identity becomes who they are in real life. In the modern day, people are taking it into their own hands to create what they believe to be the future of games. Indie titles like Rivals of Aether and Undertale have exploded in popularity in the last year. They reach the player in ways the big companies don't, by focusing on gameplay mechanics and player enjoyment, rather than making a quick buck. I for one hope this trend continues. Great things can seemingly come out of nowhere when it comes to video games. I'm looking forward to the next step video games take in the near future.